I called my mom and said, Mom, I said, I think I just read with an Oscar award-winning director who directed La La Land. I don't know for sure. Let me go look it up.
Welcome to WatchMojo's Poppin' the Culture. I'm your host with the most, Mojo. That's right, it's Mr. Hollywood himself, Matt Demers. We got an extra special episode coming your way. We've compiled some of the very best celebrity interviews that we've had here on this show, and trust me, there were so many to choose from. Plus, I've got a brand spanking new chat with actor Telvin Griffin. He stars in the much buzzed about film Babylon. Don't want to miss that. But to kickstart things, well, I had a chance to talk to some of the stars of a little show called Stranger Things. Maybe you've heard of it. They were teasing their 4th season, and boy did they ever. Here's what they had to say.
It's time.
Don't try to be heroes. There is no shame in running.
Sick.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Good.
Listen, I got to make sure I'm not dreaming because I've been waiting for season 4 of Stranger Things. Guys, it is coming. It is upon us. And I can't wait to break it down with some of my favorite cast members from the show. Okay, I don't want spoilers. I hate spoilers, but you know what I love? A good tease, okay? And here's what I want you to do. I want you to tease what we can expect in one word. Maybe that word doesn't mean anything to anybody until they watch the show, but you give me that one word tease. Caleb, I'm gonna start with you, and maybe it has to do with your character. Give me a one word tease.
I'm trying to think of this one too before it gets to me.
Dang. I'm gonna say the worst answer, and everyone's gonna say some answers. Watch. I'm gonna just say traitor.
Oh my
Traitor?
God, man.
I'm going
Hey,
to
I'm in.
say
Sadie?
clocks.
Ooh, okay. Clocks. No one knows what.
You see?
We don't know what that means.
Always that.
Priya,
Always
what's
that.
your?
Always that.
I kind of like Sadie's answers, but I'm not gonna copy and say clocks. I'm gonna say TikTok. Like,
Ooh, TikTok. Now I'm expecting stuff with clocks. Gayton, what's your tease?
Should I do another clock related one?
I know.
Fine.
I'll just say, you know what I'll say? I'll say Hellfire.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my
Now
gosh. I'm done.
it's got the save the best for last. That's what we do. We save the best for last. Listen, I've got a few episodes to preview, and I'm having such a great time with this. I love this show. I love everything about it. What I do love is that we're still in the 80s, baby.
Still there.
You guys are rocking some
little.
awesome hairstyles. Okay, as actors, tell me, because you weren't born in the 80s, is there something that you absolutely love, wardrobe-wise, hairstyle, technology, or something that you absolutely hate?
Man. I love corduroys with a fiery passion.
Corduroys.
I love corduroys with a fiery, burning passion, and I want all of them. Is that more 70s? That's 80s.
No, that's 80s. I've never worn.
It transitioned.
Fell into the 80s.
Yeah, I wore some corduroys in the first season, so I'm gonna go with that. Yeah.
I love my flat top this season.
Yeah,
Shout out to my
word
barber
up.
Tariq. Got
So
you, bro. I love my flat top this season. Yeah, that was cool.
I'm a hair guy, and I was jealous of all the hairstyles. Priya and Sadie, what about you? Fashion, technologies from the 80s that you would keep or toss?
Definitely the fashion, but I will also say the music of the 80s. Like, oh my gosh, I love it. It's so good.
I'll toss the hair and the fashion.
Yeah, hair
the music.
can be a lot.
Yeah.
So people love the show because it mixes all the different genres that you would expect in a TV show. You got your comedy, your drama. What can we expect in this one? Is it going to be more dark? Is it going to be more horror elements or more comedy? Is there one more than the other? I don't know if Caleb, you want to tackle that one?
This, I feel like it's definitely horrifying. It's definitely is gory for sure. It's not. It's mysterious, but I think it really attacks. It's really intense. Like, I wouldn't have any child under the age of like 15 watching.
15.
Yeah. No, I was like looking at it and I was like, do I really want to
Some
watch it
pretty
again?
brave 12-year-old.
I know some. I know
Yeah.
some. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, even 12 though. Like
Even
I remember if
6.
I was 12 and I watched this.
My
I was
sister
like,
was watching it. She held up.
She's
Your
a
sister's
badass though.
brave. I'm scared of your sister.
You should
I
be.
watched Chucky when I was like 5, so I think. Listen,
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry to hear that.
use your
Like,
use your judgment at home, but definitely do watch it. Get excited, folks. Season 4 is upon us. Hey, thank you guys so much. I'm a big fan, and this has been a lot of fun. Oh yes, Stranger Things absolutely had to be one of my favorite shows of 2022. But switching from TV to movies now, as one of my favorite films of the last year, believe it or not, was Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So imagine my excitement when I had a chance to talk to MADJOUB, who plays Agent Stone opposite Jim Carrey. Here's what he had to say. Sonic the Hedgehog number 2 is upon us. I'm actually really giddy because I'm a big fan of not only the video games and all the other cartoon properties, but that movie was so much fun. I've got, hey, look, Agent Stone is back. Lee, how are you?
Doing very well, Matt. How are you?
Are you as excited as I am that we got a second one of this? Because the first film seemed like a lot of fun, not only to watch, but to make. It seemed like, well, I mean, you're paired with Jim Carrey. It seemed like you two were having especially a good time.
Such a blast. I mean, to be involved in it, such a blast to see the scope of what they were going for. And then for me as a fan, like I got to watch the second one. I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. It's huge. And to see Sonic, Tails, Knuckles all on the same screen, live action, like, come on, kid's dream come true.
It really is. It really is. So we're infusing a lot of new elements in the second movie. We're upping the action, the fun factor, those characters. What part of the second film do you think audiences will enjoy the most? Like, what do you think they'll get out of it?
Oh man, that's a tough question to ask. There's so much good stuff. I mean, I think as far as a message goes, you know, you've got Sonic trying to still like figuring out where his place is. You know, trying to be a hero. And I think we can all identify with, you know, trying to do our best, trying to figure it out, making the mistakes. And then I think for me, it was just seeing like Robotnik, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, like that classic, you know, group of people on screen together.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be great. Also, the great pairing of you and Mr. Jim Carrey, who I'm such a huge fan of. And I'm wondering, Lee, is that daunting working with someone of that nature? I can imagine, like, if I was put in a movie with Jim Carrey, I'd be like shaking in my boots because he's such a legend. What was your experience like with him? Because there was great chemistry there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on the first one, there was definitely a bit of anxiety coming in, growing up with Jim and being such a huge fan of his work and everything. But he's so easy to work with. I mean, the experience I had, like, generous, big-hearted, gracious. You know, for me, a big surprise was like the collaborative element, you know, because you don't know what you're walking into, and, you know, different actors work differently. And to get that opportunity to, you know, for him to be like, hey, what do you think? And I was like, well, what do you mean what I think? Like, yeah.
No, I could totally see that. We here at WatchMojo, and this will be my last question for you. We celebrate all things popular culture, but our fans love a good villain. And when you look at the movie villain landscape, I mean, your character's level-headed. He's a straight man, but you're an evildoer. Robotnik is for sure. You're the bad guy, Lee.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you. That's your perspective, man.
But we are asking, who is your favorite movie villain of all time?
Oh, I'm gonna go. It's a quick go-to. Besides Dr. Robotnik, I'm gonna go Darth Vader.
Oh, there you go. Classic. He's the master of the dark side. Hey, listen, as I said, I had a lot of fun here with this movie, and I encourage everyone to check it out. It's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Okay, I seriously can't wait now for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Let's hope it gets here sooner rather than later. Speaking of film, well, I had a chance to talk to one of the biggest movie stars of 2022. Not only did he have a stellar outing in Top Gun Maverick, but he also starred in the sci-fi thriller Netflix film Spiderhead. Oh yes, here's me talking with Miles Teller. Listen, I love me some Miles Teller films, and trust me, I was not disappointed with this one. Spiderhead is such a great time. Miles, by the way, congratulations, you're having such a big year. This must feel fantastic. Just exciting movie after another.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think some people thought that I had like retired from acting or something, but really it was like, no, I mean, I did Top Gun 4 years ago, and then, and then this movie, and then, I also have a series out right now, and it's called The Offer, and it's nice that they're coming out, but they just all happen to be coming out within like 3 months of each other. So that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, some little thing happened in our world that maybe delayed a few things.
Delayed a couple things. That's right.
Let's talk about this particular role, because I feel like this is something maybe a little different for you. We've seen you dabble in some sci-fi. What drew you to Jeff in Spiderhead? This is a cool role.
Well, first of all, I guess I mean, Joe Kosinski, he's somebody that I've worked with a couple times, and I think he's just such an accomplished director already, and he's only done 5 films, and I just think he's going to be somebody that's around for a long time, and I've been lucky enough to work with him. I think, as an actor, sometimes you're really only as good as the director's vision, and I've benefited from Joe's vision, but also just tone wise, I had never really done something kind of in this world of science fiction, and I think science fiction is great because it's not what we're dealing with right now, but it's close enough to where you could foresee it being kind of like, if not, and almost like a parallel universe to what we're dealing with now.
Yeah, no, let's hope it's a cautionary tale based on no spoilers, based on what happens. But yeah, we're dealing with these kind of mind control kind of drugs hooked up to technology, but they do in the film do some interesting things. Let's say you're at loss for words. Well, you can just kind of crank it up and have all these exquisite things to say. Is there something that you maybe would want something to enhance?
I think in my earlier days, I think even how I ended up with my wife is a minor miracle, because the words did not come out the way I thought they were going to. So I think if guys could, dial that up a little more and say the exact right thing at the exact right time, I think that would probably serve them pretty well.
I'd want something to make me dance like Miles Teller, because,
there you go. Well, there are things for that.
People are obsessed with that. Okay, last thing I want to talk.
You just got. It's not about like who's got the best dance moves. It's really just about like who's having the most fun. I think that's always been my kind of. That's how I've always viewed dancing.
Awesome. I want to switch now to the cast. Thor, Chris Hemsworth. I mean, the epitome of a movie star. Journey Smollett. I feel like the three of you had great chemistry. What was that like working with these actors? Because it was fun to watch.
I mean, it was a lot of fun making it, to be honest with you. I think Journey's been doing it longer than Chris and I combined. I think she had a run on Full House. She literally was like a child actress. So, and it shows up in her work. She's just really committed. She's an actor's actor. She gives you everything that you would, possibly want. And Chris is the same way. I mean, he's really, to be that talented and that good looking is kind of annoying.
Tell me about it. Okay, I would be remiss, because we here at WatchMojo are comic book fanatics. Okay, we got Thor. You were Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic. Journey was the Black Canary. Okay, who wins that superhero 3-way battle royale?
Well, out of the three of us, Thor has his own movie franchise. So I would say you got to give it a Thor. It seems like he can handle business on his own.
There you go. Can't argue with that. But we can steer people towards Spiderhead over there on Netflix. Hey, Miles, thank you so much. This has been fun. From Ghostbusters to Alien, Sigourney Weaver has certainly left her mark on popular culture, and she had another fantastic year, reprising her role, of course, in Avatar: The Way of Water. But she also had a very personal role in the film The Good House. Yes, I had a chance to talk to the legendary Sigourney Weaver all about it. The movie is titled The Good House, this really wonderful character study. And here to tell me more about it is the amazing Sigourney Weaver. Hey, Sigourney, how are you?
I'm great, Matt. How are you doing?
You know, listen, I'm fantastic. Minutes ago, I was giving myself a little refresh with your filmography. I mean, it is just one fantastic character after another. What was it about Hildy in this movie that said, yeah, I got to add that to the list?
Well, it's a great question because I think, you know, how often these days do you get a movie from an older woman's point of view who's really letting you know what she thinks, and she's funny? Never is the answer to that. So I really found Hildy irresistible, and part of it was this interplay between the public Hildy, who's trying to show that she has everything under control, when in fact her life is kind of slipping out of her hands. Her husband's dumped her, her kids have sent her to rehab, her business is being torn away from her, and her only real friend, she thinks, is this nice bottle of Pinot Noir she has at the end of the day. And that's when she really lets her hair down and tells the audience the truth about what's going on. I think we need that device because otherwise we'd think that Hildy was handling it. And then the truth is she's not. And she will let you know how she feels, which is great.
It was great. And there's a great give and take with all the cast of characters involved. What's one thing about your character that you say, yeah, that's like me, that resonates with me in real life? And maybe one thing that's like, no, that's definitely not like me.
Well, I don't think I'm a witch. I don't think I have Hildy's powers of perception. She can both look into a house and see if that home is happy, but she can also look into a life, and she's very, very perceptive about things. I think as an actor, I have to be pretty perceptive about things, but a lot of it is my imagination. So I think, you know, I'm like Hildy in the sense that I also don't want to look like I need help. I think that I've worked hard like Hildy. I've achieved some success. I enjoy taking care of my family. That means a lot to me. And luckily, my husband hasn't dumped me for another guy. So that's good. We're about to celebrate our 38th wedding anniversary. But Hildy was great company. You know, seeing this movie about Hildy makes you feel you're at the bar with her, throwing back a few glasses of wine. And it's a very intimate movie in that sense, even though it's about this community and this relationship with Frank, the garbage man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure a lot of people know a lot of Hildys out there. Okay, last question, because we here on WatchMojo, we celebrate your career, your legacy. I mentioned all those great characters. Before we go, a lot of actors are tackling some of their iconic roles. One last time, Sigourney, is there one of your roles that you would love to step back in the shoes of?
Well, I think I have to step back in the shoes of the character I play in Avatar 2, the 14-year-old Kiri, because we have 3, 4, and 5. So that will be, you know, I think it's great. I enjoyed coming back to Ripley when I did. You've grown, the character's changed. So I think that's really fun. And it's a luxury for an actor to be able to revisit the same character.
Absolutely. Well, people are going to experience a new one, and her name is Hildy in The Good House. Make sure you definitely check it out. And Sigourney, I can't thank you enough for your time today. Okay, if you've checked out this show at any point, then you know that we love ourselves some superheroes, whether it's on the big screen or the small screen. But of course, when it comes to the latter, there's perhaps no show that beats The Umbrella Academy. Yes, I had a chance to talk to the cast, and, well, let's just say things got amusing pretty quickly. Well, check this out.
This isn't your home.
What are you talking about? This is the Umbrella Academy.
This is the Sparrow Academy.
All right.
Your YouTube channel.
Hi, Mom.
Sorry, I just have to mention.
You know, well, listen, we love our fans, and I'll tell you what, if you go in and you search WatchMojo top superhero teams, you're going to find the Umbrella Academy on that list.
For Umbrella.
Number 20, the Umbrella Academy.
I had all these questions, but now I'm seeing a bird, and it's just cleared my brain. Does it have a name, by the way, that bird?
Memory wipe. This is one of the most industrious cockatoos in all of Hollywood, called Shaka.
Wow.
It's herb crusted. herb encrusted cockatoo.
Herb
Herb
encrusted.
sulfur was a herb.
Tom, talk to me about Luther, because I've seen a few episodes of season 3 of Umbrella Academy and really enjoying it, by the way. Great stuff. I feel like your character, well, you tell me, I feel like there's an evolution here. There's some new stuff with Luther. Talk to us about that.
Once Luther learns that we don't really have anything to worry about in this timeline, when 5 explains to them, it's like, well, you have to worry about doppelgangers, but apart from that, we're pretty much good. I think Luther goes, okay, well, I don't really have any responsibilities here now, so I can just kind of be me. And that's the first time he's ever been able to do that. And I think quite quickly he's like, I could get used to this.
I feel like I know these characters now because this is our third go around, and I'm curious, I'll pose it to all of you, if there's any aspects of your character's personality that rings true in real life. David, is there a little bit of Diego in you?
Yeah, I mean, of course. But, it's more about me in Diego. Because there's a lot of warmth, deep. I mean, I'm just saying what Justin's been saying, but I don't make fun of him when he says it. Which is like, you have to bring some truth to it, right? But like the fact that Diego can dance, I can dance. The fact that Diego wants to be a good father, I want to be a good father. The fact that he hates his siblings, but also loves them and respects them, I'm the same way. So there's a lot of elements, but it's more just amplified with Diego, I think.
What about you? Is there a lot of Ben and Justin?
Yeah, I mean, that guy's pretty much me. I mean, what can I say? I'm a dickhead.
Dickhead.
No, this one was a slight stretch for me, but it was a lot of fun. It was a challenge in that way. And yeah, I, as David just said, I think parts of myself get imbued into Ben naturally as an actor.
I am very loyal. I'm kind of a ride or die for my family and my friends. If you're in my inner circle, I will literally do anything for you. And I think Allison is the same, which I think is really interesting this season because we kind of see a shift in her in that way, which was really fun to play with.
What do you think was the key for this particular season to keep things nice and fresh and captivating for audiences?
Well, I'm glad you feel it's still fresh. I think what we did this year, when I sat down with the writers, we really wanted to put a common enemy against the umbrellas, something very close to home, and see what our umbrellas did. So, we have the Sparrows, who were raised by the same dad in their houses, in their bedrooms upstairs, and see them, the umbrellas have to come together as a family to deal with this. And it's all personal because, even though they're not big fans of Reggie, but it's still like, this is our turf. So it was a fun idea to see a family on family showdown.
We're introducing this group called the Sparrows, right? Talk to me about the dynamic offset. I'm picturing a feud now. I'm picturing the actors that were in the Umbrella Academy and then the Sparrows, and you're at opposite sides of the set, and it's kind of, am I right about that?
The Sparrows are the enemies and the Umbrellas are the goodies. Yes, I agree.
Did they put the cast chairs on different sides? I feel like they might have, but I don't quite remember. Sorry.
They separated you guys for real. Get that intensity.
Really method, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Is there an initiation, by the way, that you guys do for new actors that come in?
Yeah, we basically put them in a big sack, and we kidnap them and we take them to the beach, and we cover them in applesauce and make them
flamingos too.
Robert, is there like an initiation for like new cast members?
Yeah, they all have to stand in a line with the blindfold on, and then we cattle prod each of them, but we don't tell them which body part they're going to get cattle prodded in. Might be the ankle, might be the ear. You know what I mean?
Who knows? That's part of the fun in the mystery.
One of my favorite things about the show is the music, what we like to call a nice little needle drop.
Yeah.
The Umbrella Academy's got the best in the biz, in my opinion.
I write it into the scripts. I love music. I listen to a lot of music. So sometimes I'll hear a song. I'll say, I don't know where, but I want that song in the show. Sometimes I'll be writing a scene and it will inspire me to get a song. But I've also now sort of told my writers to do the same thing. So the writers are now putting music into their scripts. Once it's all done, I compile it and then like a playlist. And I work with Jen Malone, who's an incredible music supervisor. And sometimes she says, you know, we can do better than that.
Everybody else can see Ben, right?
Yeah, and he's a complete dickhead.
They're all dickheads.
Is there a song that you would love to see added into the show that hasn't yet? Aiden, start with you.
Sharpest Lives by MCR. It's a fun beat. It would work for a fight scene, and it has the line in it, when it rains, it pours, or it has something like that. And yeah, just all around, I think that'd be awesome for the show.
I'm going to go with Monte Carlo by Remy Wolf. I'm obsessed with that song at the minute.
I love Lucy and Ricky Ricardo. Hail Mary, meet me in the end zone.
One of the things I love about TV shows is sometimes they can meet up. You can invade other shows. They don't do it as often now, but I'm wondering, what show would you like the Umbrella Academy to infiltrate? You know, you call it the crossover.
I just watched a show called Tokyo Vice, Michael Mann, and I think that I really loved it. And there was something about that kind of Japanese world that I'm like, I wish the Umbrellas would kind of immerse themselves into that culture.
I would love to invade Stranger Things. I think they'd all get along really, really well. I'd love to see how that plays out. Everyone's got all the powers, and 11 and her powers. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much.
Only on Netflix. Thank you so much, by the way.
Been looking for you.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, sticking with hit Netflix series, our next interview comes courtesy of the series Never Have I Ever. Yes, I talked to stars Maitri, Darren, and Jaren. They tease the future of their love triangle and so much more. Take a look. Never Have I Ever season 3 is upon us on Netflix, and I've got my favorite TV love triangle to tell me all about it. Listen, people are so invested in your characters. Give us a tease. Now, we don't want any spoilers, but we here on the show love a good tease. I'm wondering if you can make that tease one word. Tease your character for season 3 in one word, and maybe that word doesn't mean anything to anybody until we watch the show. Maitri, do you want to start, or who wants to start? Give us the one word.
Okay. Oh, wow. I have a good one. I have a great one. Just boink. Boink.
Oh,
that
was
so
good. Damn.
Just BOINK. Boink. Find out what that means later.
I can't even follow that
You
up.
can't top that.
I
You can't
cannot
top that. Oh,
If I could take that, I would also say that.
You can't know.
Darren?
Move.
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 Move. Move. Oh, move.
You know what I'll-
That's sad.
Move.
I'll go with
Move. That's good.
crappy.
Nice. Crappy.
Nice.
That's good. That's
I
funny.
am so sold on all your answers. It's fantastic. This, as I mentioned, this is the 3rd season. You guys have been playing these characters for a long time. Do you find yourself inhabiting any of your characters' traits in real life now? Maybe you say certain things or you act a certain way. Dare, do you want to go first?
When Mindy and Lang booked him for this role, they were like, Darren, among many other reasons, this wasn't the only one. They were like, you're the only one that can permanently have a smoldering face but make it funny. And I feel like I just get lockjaw sometimes with how hard I'm smoldering on set. Then I leave and I'll get home and my friends are like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? So yeah, smoldering all the time.
Man.
Maitri, what about you?
I think this might be a little bit of a reverse, I guess. I sort of gave Davey this attribute, but
Oh God.
yeah, Jaren loves when I do good old finger guns.
Finger guns.
Every time Davey does finger guns, that's actually just been me doing that. Usually it's in a take when they're like, yeah, make sure you're here for this take. Just go have fun, do what you feel. And it just comes out and I drop the finger guns. Jaren clearly loves it.
I love them.
So much.
I did finger guns in high school. I'm in with
I
the
love
finger
finger
guns.
guns. They're the best.
Yeah, finger guns are great, are best. And lastly,
Yeah, I think that for me, Ben is really excited to get into college, and college was something that I, in my personal life, was really excited about. I just recently graduated from USC in May of 2022. So Ben's starting his journey and I've just kind of finished mine, but I definitely relate to that excitement surrounding college and university and everything that brings.
yeah, well, I can tell you what, everyone at home is excited to see what season 3 brings. I thank you for teasing us. Can't wait to see what all this means.
Oh.
And thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Emmy Award winner Jim Parsons has really expanded his acting range since leaving The Big Bang Theory as Sheldon, of course. One of his biggest highlights was this year's film, Spoiler Alert. It was quite the tearjerker, and I had Jim Parsons and his co-star, Ben Aldridge, to tell me all about it.
Two brothers. We're actually very close, but they live in different states. Only child. Childhood obsessions. Christmas, magic.
The movie is titled Spoiler Alert, and spoiler alert, it's going to make you cry and laugh and all the roller coaster of emotions that go along with this. Who'd better to tell me all about it than some of the stars? We got Jim, we got Ben. Jim, going to start with you. People love some Jim Parsons, myself included. You got a big fan base out there.
Very kind.
Let them know what they can expect out of this one.
You can expect a very heartfelt, joyful, also tragic, ultimately uplifting story of humans dealing with love and life and all the left turns that come with that, and how going through all that as your true self makes your life a fuller, more wonderful thing. I sound like a Hallmark card.
Oh, yeah, but live for it. Live for that Hallmark
But it was true.
card.
It's true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot going on here. Ben, I'll switch to you. Your character, obviously we're based on real people here. Is that a daunting task for you? How did you tackle that? Like, did you consult with people, or was this something that you just ran with? Or
Yeah, I think daunting is the right word. Shortly after knowing that I was playing Kit, I was sent home video footage of him. Him and Michael used to record each other a lot at different kind of momentous moments in their life. And I was sent a reel of that, and then also his memorial film as well. And yeah, I was hit by a very heavy wave of responsibility, really, of like doing it justice and kind of and paying tribute to him in that way. And then I think was really helped and guided through the process by Jim and Michael Showalter and Michael Osiello as well, who was always on set at the monitors as a producer, and really a very open an open book, an open resource to help out with anything big and small, from on-set talks about how Kit might sit at any given moment given the level of pain that he was in, to having kept Kit's personal objects. So like the camera that I'm using in the film, the black point and shoot, is Kit's actual camera. So it was a very powerful thing in those scenes, such as in Benny's Burritos scene, to actually be looking through that lens and taking a picture of Jim. It was very moving always.
Amazing. Well, I'll just say that you nailed it. So great job.
Thank you.
Jim, your character, there's this really wonderful scene where they're discovering that your character is obsessed with Smurfs. I'm curious, do you share the same affinity for Smurfs, or maybe something else?
No, not to the degree that the real life Michael Osiello has an affinity for Smurfs. That is a love of a special nature and intensity.
Ben, are you a Smurf fanatic?
No, but
had you heard of them?
I knew what a Smurf was. Yeah, it was, and that's his real collection of. That's a percentage of his actual collection.
Tip of the iceberg.
That was tip of the iceberg that was flown in. So that was kind of shocking. But yeah, not any obsessions like that.
Amazing. Well, listen, I'll tell you what, people are definitely going to enjoy this. We want to encourage them to check it out. It's called Spoiler Alert. Thank you so much, Jim and Ben. Always a pleasure. Okay, well, as teased at the top of the show, we do have one brand new interview for you this week, and it's with actor Telvin Griffin. He appears in the Damien Chazelle directed film Babylon. So, without any further ado, here's Telvin.
If you could go anywhere in the whole world, where would you go?
I always wanted to be part of something bigger.
Yes.
Let's go! Something that lasts, that means something.
There is a movie that's on my radar, and I'm sure on a lot of people's radars, and it's called Babylon. I've got one of the actors who appears in it to tell me all about it. Hey, Telvin, how are you?
What's up, Matt? I'm good. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm a big, well, I watch a lot of movies, watch a lot of TV. I consume a lot of things, but this is one that I've had circled on my release calendar for a long time. You're in it. You tell me about Babylon. Give us before we get into your specific character, give us the lowdown for those that might not be familiar with that movie.
So yeah, Babylon is it's a feature film, and it's chronicling the 1920s Hollywood. And for those who might not know, that is one of the pinnacle eras of Hollywood. It was during the silent era when they were doing silent movies. And Babylon hits on that, as well as the transition to talking films. So you get to see a lot of how the environment was in the 1920s Hollywood. And I think Damien really, he really capitalizes on that.
Damien Chazelle, he's the director tackling this one. He did La La Land, another one of my faves. To recreate that genre or that era of time, it must have been a huge undertaking. And we see the trailers, and it looks like they pulled it off nicely. What was that like, walking into set and putting on those costumes and seeing the extras and the production design? Was that kind of surreal?
So it was probably the biggest set I've been on to date. I mean, there was so many moving parts. You had a big ballroom. They had all these blow up dolls, these stick big heads. I mean, it literally was the environment and the spirit of the 20s. And as actors, all we had to do was just show up on set with our lines, and we were already immersed in that environment. So from the day we tried on costumes, I mean, it was like, wow, this is really what they wore in the 20s. How crazy is this?
What did your character? Okay, well, tell us. Okay, give us the breakdown about your character. Tell us exactly what you wore, what you had to do, and what all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I play a character by the name of Reginald, who's the saxophonist in the band, and so the leader of the band is actually a guy by the name of Sidney Palmer, played by Giovanna Deco, one of the leads. And so I'm just a guy who is looking for his opportunity as well, because everybody is trying to find their way in this particular era in Hollywood. And so, you know, from the band to actors to singers to models, we're all trying to find our way. And from the very beginning of, I guess, the casting process, they asked, you know, what type of wardrobe would I be interested in? And, you know, on top of the wigs and all of that. And I get to wear a tuxedo most of my shoot. And I'm like, because you know, as a band, we're performing at the parties. Mm-hmm. And so the tuxedo matched with the wig. It was yeah.
You get to be like a little James Bond. Get the tux on, right?
You know what's so crazy? No one knew that was a wig, and I credit that to the hair department, Jamie and Renee and all those beautiful ladies. That wig looked so real that when I took it off, when I picture rapped, they were like, "Telvin?" I was like, "Yeah."
This is real for anyone wondering at home. This is all real.
Looks good. Looks good.
Thank you. Do you play the saxophone in real life, or?
You know what's so interesting? How the universe, God, whatever you believe in, how that works. I played saxophone in the band in the 6th and 7th grade. Hadn't picked one up since.
No way.
And during the casting process, the first audition, I didn't use a saxophone. But once I got the call back and they said, "Hey, you got a director session with Damien," I was like, what can I do to make me stand apart? So I went to all the pawn shops looking for a saxophone. I was like, well, I play saxophone. Let me just retrain myself. And I found one pawn shop that sold it to me for $180. And I practiced about 3 days, and the callback came. I surprised Damien and Javon. They had no idea I was going to play the saxophone. So I'll just say that was probably the best investment I made in the last 2 years.
See kids in the band in those classrooms when they give you those instruments you don't really want to play, like the triangle or the tuba.
Yes.
It might pay off. Might get you a role.
Yes.
In Damien Chazelle film.
Exactly.
What was it like working with Damien? You know, there's a lot of Oscar buzz here. Him, of course, being a front runner and maybe perhaps the directing category. What can you tell us about working with one of Hollywood elites?
You know what? When I first read with Damien, it didn't click who he was, you know, because everything is moving so fast. And I'm like, after the audition, I was like, holy cow. I called my mom and said, Mom, I said, I think I just read with an Oscar award-winning director who directed La La Land. I don't know for sure. Let me go look it up. And so once I finally got to set, Damien is that director who knows exactly what he wants. I mean, he can get an artist to get to a place that an artist didn't even know they could get to, you know? And I think that's important because he's the fearless leader and everything all trickles down from him. And so from day one, Damien was just our leader, man. And he led that set every day and everybody felt comfortable with him being the leader. And it's going to show. I think the audience and you guys will be really, really pleased.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. It's a ensemble cast. You've got the likes of Brad Pitt is in there. Margot Robbie. Did you guys cross paths at all? I have a slight.
We cross paths on set, but in our scenes, so the scenes are very they're huge, and so all of the actors were in the same scene, but there are different things going on. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so we got to talk off camera, but on camera, I mean, just watching her work. I mean, she is destined for greatness. She is just amazing. And what she puts into this role, playing Clara and playing Nellie is just going to be, yeah. I think she's going to get major love for that. I'm very excited for her.
Very cool. And it's so cool that you got to be part of this whole production. I want to talk a little bit about your path to acting. Is this something you always wanted to do? We've seen you pop up in a few other genre shows. Give us a little, maybe the abridged edition of your rise to the acting world.
Yeah, you know what? So I went to college for broadcast journalism. I went to a University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And my degree was broadcast journalism. So I wanted to do what you're doing. I loved the aspect of broadcasting, you know, coming up tonight at News at 10, we've got local police officers who are, you know, I liked that. But it just wasn't giving me enough juice, creative juice, you know, and I would feel myself like wanting more. And I've always been fascinated with movies, television. Denzel is my favorite actor. Robert De Niro, Danny Glover. So I always used to watch those guys and I thought to myself, why don't I just give it a try? And so when I graduated in 2012, I jumped right in. And Matt, I tell you, every year has been a step to another level. And it's been very rewarding. It's a process. If I could tell people who wants to do this, I would say it's a process. But if you stick to it, you know, and you know what your purpose is and know what you want, each audition you get, each booking you get, you'll see that it's taking you closer and closer to that dream and goal that you had deep in your heart as a kid.
Absolutely. Football, you had a bit of a football background, Telvin?
I did. Yeah, I played a couple of years at college at Arkansas, walked on. And as you can tell, walk-ons, you probably don't get much playing time, but it was still the experience. You know, growing up in Arkansas, you're a Razorback fan. We don't have a professional team, right? So the Arkansas Razorbacks, they are that professional team for Arkansans. And it was fun. It was a good experience to play. I met a lot of guys, some of my best friends I met on the football team to this day. And I think I equate a lot of what I do in life to athletics. I know that sounds weird, but it works. So when people explain something to me, I always break it down in football or sports terminology.
There you go. It works. Being a movie guy, I love me some good football movies. There's so many great ones out there. Any Given Sunday, or Jerry Maguire, Rudy, just a few that come to mind. Do you have a fave? Being the football guy?
Remember the Titans is probably one of my favorites. It was just such an impactful movie for me growing up, and of course Denzel's in it. But the storyline of it was just it really impacted me to the point where, because we also had a friend in college who passed away, And so, you know, watching that movie, it was just like, man, this stuff can really happen in real life. But at the end of the day, it also showed that when you come together as a team, as one, putting all that other stuff, all that other drama beside you, you can really accomplish great things. So that was a really impactful move for me. Definitely one of my favorites.
Well, I'll tell you what is fun chatting with you, Telvin. I really appreciate your time today. And again, we want to encourage everyone to check out the movie Babylon when it hits the big screen in theaters. Thanks again, Telvin.
Matt, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this very special retrospective look back at some of our favorite celebrity interviews from 2022. But of course, I got to thank everybody and anybody who took part in this program over the past year. It really has been a blast. The biggest thanks, of course, goes out to you for watching and listening. And listen, as we head into 2023, as far as this show goes, there are some big changes coming. That's right, we're going to tell you all about it, so keep it locked in, and we hope to see you there. Until then, I've been Mr. Hollywood, and it's been my pleasure popping that culture.